Should we now talk about how breaking apple trees gets you to run for office?
This show was so sweet and stupid. I don't like the end result of the episode, but I liked
Yeah.
everything up until that point. Anyway, do you want to do the we always end up talking for like 40 minutes and then the introduction. You want to like buck the trend and do the introduction?
I'll just say, "Hi, I'm Rachel."
And I'm Meg, and this is Ger Can Get It. This week, sexy political applesauce? I don't know.
If they gave awards for makeouts on screen or stage, this guy would get a lifetime achievement. He'll find any excuse to get right to second face. You honestly wouldn't believe it. Dissecting each and every kiss with tongue. There's only one conclusion to come to. It's that Ger can get it. Ger can get it.
This week, it turns out that we're all super into puffy shirts and tight pants all of a sudden. Like, that's a new kink unlocked.
How everyone else has shirts that fit, and then his shirt is like 4 times
It's a characteristic. It's a characteristic. I think he walks into a room, and either the costume ladies just go blind. They just pass out on the floor, and he has to pick up whatever he
He's
can
like,
pick up.
"Okay, fine, whatever. I guess I'll just grab something off the rack."
Men's
Again.
4X, here we go. Or he walks in and they look at him and they're like, "What size are you?" And he's like, 5X. And they're like, are you sure? You seem like maybe like a large. He's like, no, I need a 5X shirt. And they're like, all right, okay, here you go. It has to bill him appropriately. It is ridiculous. It is weird. I didn't notice it until you mentioned it. And then I couldn't stop noticing it, that he had like the biggest shirt out of everyone on set. I know.
And the tightest pants.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Campbells. Much appreciated.
Is this character the ancestor of his character from, what was the post-apocalyptic 70s movie where he was a farmer?
Final Harvest.
Deadly Harvest.
Deadly Harvest.
Deadly
yeah,
Harvest,
right.
yes. Is this character the ancestor of his Deadly Harvest character?
Yes. I like to think that all of his characters are related and we're just going through their weird, sexy family tree.
Because he's like emigrated to Canada to start a orchard, because Canada is well known for its hospitable to agriculture climate. And so he's like, this is the perfect place for my apple orchard. Fast forward, what is this, the 1880s?
1830s.
1830s. Okay, fast forward 140 years from now, and his children are stuck in frozen Saskatchewan trying to farm and just dying out.
I would read that, like, you know when you have those historical novels that like follow a family through like 7 generations? I would read it if they're all blonde guys in puffy shirts and tight pants, and just like the struggle of the puffy shirt, tight pants people.
So no shit, there used to be one. It was like Century, something like that. And it was a television show that followed a piece of land. And it followed this piece of land from like natives and people traveling there, like the fur trade, all the way through to like the trains coming through and it becoming a boom town or whatever. My dad got the tape set for Christmas because he really, really liked it. And we were like, okay, we're going to binge watch this television show. We got to the 4th episode and it was like starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I was like, oh, I didn't know Jean-Claude Van Damme was in this. It was a Jean-Claude Van Damme Western that had gotten stuck.
I remember you telling me about this. Did you ever get it fixed? Like, did the
we contacted, Mom got it from like Time Life or something. So Mom contacted them and was like, there's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Like, and it didn't say, it was labeled correctly. Like it was labeled 4th episode of this television show. And they were like, again, and they were like, just send it back. Like,
but it's good that they were like, we're aware of this problem and not, what are you talking about?
How did that happen? That's my question.
Some disgruntled guy at the factory. It was his last day. He was like, fuck it.
"Nope."
Everyone, you wanted to see the history of this piece of dirt? Screw you. You're getting Jean-Claude Van Damme kicking ass.
And it's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie I've never seen ever again anywhere else. It feels like an unreleased one in my head. It's one of those things where you say it to people and they're like, that didn't happen. And you're like, but it happened.
Like, so
It
the
happened in real
Rockula
life.
of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies?
Yes. I was like, what is
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I think about when I think about those, like, what are they? Anthology or
Great
there's a
epics or
name for
whatever.
them where they follow just
Yeah.
like one long thing. Yeah. I would watch that too, to go from, bitch, you broke my apple tree, I'm going to run for office, to oh no, the world is ending and we're going to kill ourselves. Goodbye.
It does sort of feel like good bookends.
Guess I should have voted for myself.
I feel like this episode, so okay. So we are watching, let me back up 40 steps. We are watching season 3, episode 10 of a TV show called The Campbells. This season, this episode is from 1988. The episode is titled The Reluctant Candidate. Ger plays a character called Dan Bright. He's only in this one episode, never again. If you want to watch this, apparently this show only ever airs on like Christian and family channels. If you want to buy it, good fucking luck. You don't even know the efforts I had to, like the back alley bullshit deals I had to go into to buy one single copy. So this has been released on DVD, but it's one box set for all episodes. I think there's like 9 seasons. It is one single big fat box set. This one, I got it through, when you buy it on Amazon, but it's like through an individual seller, like the Amazon, eBay hybrid, whatever.
Yeah.
So I had to buy it from someone because Amazon was like, we don't carry this. Nobody carries this. This hasn't been made. And like, I think the DVD is from like 2001. And they made like 4 of them and then shot the guy that made it and burned the factory down. So
like
when I got literally the
DVDs.
plastic, yes, correct. The plastic on this thing is cracked all to shit. This thing has seen war. This thing has gone through such hardship. Admittedly, I have not watched a single other episode. If you go into like Amazon Prime, it does that thing where it's like, oh, we have this to watch. And then when you click on it, it's like, actually all the rights expired because nobody gives a shit. So here's a picture of what the DVD would look like if you could watch it, but fuck you, no, you can't. So if you want to watch this, good goddamn luck to anyone who wants to watch this. You write me and I'll mail you the DVDs. That's your best.
Is this another one I
shot.
should put up on YouTube?
Possibly because on Amazon Prime, they did have a digital version of it at one point, but they, like I said, they let the rights expire. So like whoever is supposed to be giving a shit does not.
I also need to put up The Judge, I think.
Oh yeah.
So I need to do The Judge and I need to do The Campbells. This one.
I thought that was already up. Whatever. I mean, you've got access to it. I'll get it to you.
I will figure it out. And then I'll get an angry letter and I'll be like, you were the one responsible. Have you heard of Black Harbor?
I know you're out there, Wayne. I know you're listening. Give it to me. I want it. It's precious. It's my fucking white whale. How do I get a hold of it? No joke though, I know this is like not what we're talking about. I am perversely excited to go to the National Archives of Canada and be like, I am here for Black Harbor. Bring it to me.
It appears in a puff of smoke. There's a faint smell of sulfur. Why is it like this?
I want to walk into this building and everyone else is like college students or professional researchers and they're doing like important work for humanity. And I'm like, I'm here for the born, please. Like, I've traveled across country lines. I've flown here from far away. They literally, I think we mentioned this in some previous episode, when I reached out to the National Archives to figure out like, how do I set up viewing this? And like, what do I need to bring my own computer and headphones? And like, what do I have to schedule a time? What do I have to do? They literally said that I need to tell them, I think 6 to 8 weeks in advance.
Yes.
And like, maybe that's their policy for like everything, but I have to assume that for Black Harbor, it's because this is propping up a table in some deep, dark, moldy basement. They have to poke rats away with a stick to get the Black Harbor
giant
box.
Rubber rats. The rubber rats from Tale of Terror, Trilogy of Terror.
Man-eating rubber rats. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I love how that noise is both very good, like when you're watching it, like it feels like the noise a rat could make, but also is very clearly just the sound of the rubber squeaking. Like it's just
Yes,
chef's
absolutely.
kiss.
Mhm.
Anyways, so this is another like almost lost piece of Ger's television history. But apparently, like I said, apparently there, at least in the recent past, this show was being shown like all the time on the family and Christian themed TV networks, at least in the States. It was like pretty popular because if you Google it, like it'll come up on all these networks, but none of them are currently. No, I'm sorry. There was one that I think still is has streaming for like season 1. It was very weird. Like it was like one off on like the Jesus all-time good vibes family hour network. They had something, but like the rest of it, to try and get your own copy is fucking impossible. eBay didn't have any. It was literally one guy on Amazon who was like with his trench coat being like, "You want some good Christian fun?" And I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, I do." So I now own 9 episodes of fucking
9 seasons.
9 seasons, correct. 9 seasons
Yes.
of good moral content. And fun fact for the audience, when you look at the cover art of the box, you're going to be like, oh, that lady looks familiar. Oh, I think I know who that is. It's Catherine goddamn Disher. Kathy Disher is on the box for this in her like early 20s. Okay. This is the other mystery that I cannot solve because so the episode that we watched is season 3. So they like had time to establish the show or whatever. The basic premise, not that it matters, we don't give a shit. The basic premise is there is a Scottish doctor, and you're going to be like, oh, he does not sound Scottish. Correct. The actor was not Scottish. He did not try to do a Scottish accent. He was like, fuck it. I'm English. I'm here. I'm the one English guy that lived in Scotland. But he played, so he's supposed to be a Scottish doctor. And I guess in the 1830s, there was a large period of migration from Scotland especially, but I guess all of the UK into Canada. There was like a huge wave of migration. And also, I think there was something. So I did, just like with Trudeau, I tried to teach myself Canadian history online because I didn't learn shit when I was in school. Turns out I didn't pay attention, I guess, when they were going through the Campbells segment of Canadian history. But there were I think there were reasons why like Scotland was not looking prosperous and Canada was. So it was sort of like a push on one direction and a pull on the other. So there's a huge wave of migration. So this Scottish doctor, Dr. Campbell, he moves to Canada with his 3 children. And if you go to Wikipedia, it like lists the 3 children. And in this episode, I know there's at least one daughter, I feel like I remember seeing. So there's kids that are there.
Yeah.
None of them are Kathy Disher's character. Kathy Disher's character, though, has the last name Campbell. I could not find anywhere where where her character comes up at all. Like you Google the character name, like, and the Campbells, nothing. The only place that it's referenced besides her picture on the box is if you go to, I think, Kathy's Wikipedia page, it's like blah, 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 and she plays something Campbell. The only thing that I can figure, my guess, is because her character has, let me see if I can find it. Her character has like a last name as a middle name. So I kind of was thinking maybe she's going to be Dr. Campbell's wife in future, his very young, unfortunately young wife. But even when I tried to Google like Dr. Campbell, the Campbells, remarriage, marry again, or this character, like nothing comes up, 0. Yeah, she plays the character of Christine Bradford Campbell. So, like, I know she's not the first wife because he's a widower. I know she's not one of the 3 children because they list the 3 children's names. It's just very weird. Like, she must have been important if she's on the box, but she's not in this episode. And I couldn't figure out who she is in the show because, like, when you look like a list of the actors who were in the Campbells, her name doesn't pop up. Her character name doesn't pop up. Her name doesn't pop up. It's just
that's really weird,
right? It's a weird mystery. I may at some point when I'm in the mood for some good old fashioned, wholesome fun, I may watch a couple more episodes and like see if she pops up anywhere. But like at least by episode 10 in season 3, she's not there. I kind of thought at the very beginning, there's that Dr. Sims character played by Cedric Smith, who will who will become Kathy Disher's now ex-husband, but like he became her husband. And at the very beginning, he gets a letter from someone, and I was like, oh, maybe she played his daughter, because I was thinking like age-wise, she could. I mean, she's like 20 years younger than him. She could have conceivably been his daughter, but the name isn't right. because that guy's last name is Sims and his daughter is like, I don't know, little girl Sims. So, and her character last name is either Bradford or Campbell, and then becomes Bradford Campbell. So like that's not her either. So I don't know, but she must, like I said, she must have been important enough to be on the cover of the box next to Dr. Campbell and the other kids. But
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can.
this show is weird. It's sort of like Black Harbor, except obviously like it's gettable. Like I had to pay fully like $120 to that guy on Amazon to get a copy of this DVD. But like
Whoa.
yeah, it was ridiculous. And like I said, it arrived like busted to shit, but like at least the DVDs work. But it's like it's hard to get, but it's still like gettable. Whereas Black Harbor is fucking impossible in a big puff of smoke, but it's still kind of in that weird apocryphal. Why is there no, like, if this show was as popular as it seems like it was, why is there so little information about like the actual content of it? It's really weird.
Added complication. There's a character named Christine Campbell in a show played by Julia Louis
Yes,
Dreyfus.
yeah. The Adventures of New Christine. I think that I saw
Yeah.
that pop up. Yeah,
I
yeah. It
don't
turns out
want
Christine
that.
Campbell was a name that a lot of people gave their characters for TV shows.
So
since
the only way
1988.
through is to watch it all. Apparently she's in season
Yeah.
4, episode 4, so you can just watch that and figure it out.
That sounds less onerous than I was planning on going the full Murdoch Mysteries route and just being like episode 1 and like just going.
Here
all the way
we
through.
go. No, 1990. Season 4, episode 4 is the only thing that pops up when I Google the name. And it's like
I'll
Neil
try it.
Campbell is now a deputy with the Baltimore Constabulary. Constabulary. I don't know if that's that word. When his partner is killed during a
Constabulary?
prisoner's escape, he and Christine go to Toronto to fulfill his partner's dying wish.
Maybe she's the daughter-in-law. Because
John
Neil, I
makes
think,
a-
is one of the kids.
Golf club
see
for
it.
his father's birthday.
Yeah. So let me see. So wait, what's the name of the Neil? Neil, I think, is
Neil.
one of the 3 kids. Oh, I think you solved the mystery. Oh, I think you solved it. Okay, let me see. Wait,
You're
3
welcome.
kids. Neil, Emma, and John. Yeah. Okay, so she becomes the daughter-in-law. Oh, that scratched an itch inside my brain that was real deep.
You are welcome.
I know that she wrote an episode. I think she wrote and directed like one single episode. But it's funny.
Aw.
It's sort of another characteristic of he's going to be in a show with a cast member who is a long-term cast member of the show that he's guest starring in and will be a cast member of the show that he'll be in the future. But they refuse to be in the episode that he's in somehow. Like they're
was
like, nope.
The Matrix, which was with
Yes.
Carrie
Ann Moss.
Yeah, where
Yes.
she was like, you know what, I'm on vacation this episode. I'm on vacation.
That was my favorite part, that they literally started that episode with a phone call and a non-voice being like, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, you're on vacation this week? Okay,
Aw,
bye-bye. And
it's a
then like the
shame.
person hangs up the phone. I like how I appreciate like, so I've been watching Babylon 5 because of your podcast and it's encouraged me and I really like the show and I'm enjoying that like there's a through line which we have now in most of our modern TV shows. Like I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But also, counterpoint, I like that a lot of these old shows did not give a shit. Oh, you're gone this week? All right, I'll have some guy pick up a phone and be like, oh shit, you broke both your legs and you're in the hospital? Dunzo. Cocaine, next episode. Like the lack of give a shit is sometimes kind of fun. Not for a quality reason, but like.
I shared that story the other day on Instagram that was like, y'all don't know about filler episodes and it shows. And
Yes.
it's like, television shows shouldn't be 9 episodes long. They should be 22 episodes long and half of them should be irrelevant because you need the time to rest. Like you need everything shouldn't matter. Everything shouldn't matter. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so seen. I just
See, that's why
I like
really
to experience TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the only place that we get that now, or like the main place, is in like the police procedural type show.
Yeah.
Where like
maybe that's why they're still so popular.
Yeah. Yeah. I want the like put it on in the background while I'm folding laundry show.
Yeah. I want the oops, he lost his memory episode. And then I want the oh no, is there actually ghosts episode? And then I want the oh no, I may have gone back in time episode. Like I want the
The only one that I never want to happen again because it freaks me out in a way that's like, you know, when you're like, oh, this is just a thing that triggers you personally and is actually not a big thing, and you just have an insane place in your brain that can't, like, this is just the one soft spot in your brain. So for me, that is when you have an episode of a TV show, and usually it's a TV show that's either like set in the future or set in a world where there's like magic, or it's set in a world that's like slightly more mystical than our own, and they do an episode of what if the main character is actually insane? What if they've actually been in an insane asylum this whole time, and all the magical adventures that we've been watching are actually like not real? And then what they always do at the end is they're like, psych, just kidding.
Maybe.
Or were we?
Maybe.
And I fucking hate it. I hate it.
Yep,
because I am
that.
deeply,
deeply
afraid. Yeah, because like lots of shows have done it. Buffy did it. I know I was watching something else the other day where they did the exact. It's like a trope. I don't know why we all wanted to have the like, P.S. maybe we're all crazy. Just kidding. Maybe we're not just kidding.
Some people looked forward to that episode. I looked forward to the backstory episodes. We're going to live with this one random side character and we're going to learn all about them for this entire episode. Those were my I love those. And I liked the I forgot myself. I lost my memory episode. Or everyone around me is different. Those were always my favorite. But that's just me.
I don't mind any. No, I like. I mean,
oh
obviously,
God, even Forever Night gets one. Curiouser and Curiouser is the. Am I actually human? And everybody around, and I'm crazy.
See, I didn't like it. And I didn't like the Forever Night version either.
That's one of my favorites. Look,
I know,
and I know tiny cup, the fucking tiny cup. It's my fucking favorite.
I felt bad for, and I never remember her name. This is terrible. The lady who plays the chief of police. Why can't I?
Oh, Cohen.
Yeah, the lady who plays Cohen, because they stuck her in a dress from Jeanette from
which is clearly can't be done up in the back.
No,
and she's like, leaning all the whole time.
I was like, come on, guys! Like you could have put her, like, all you wanted was like to put her in a dress that's like sort of slutty. You could have found a sort of slutty dress in her side. Like she's not a huge woman. No. She's not like the world's biggest woman where you'd have to like strap a tarp to her. She's a beautiful lady.
Season
She's
1,
bigger than Deb Duchenne.
Season 1, Jean-Paul Gaultier. Season 2, we can't afford a second larger dress.
I mean, that is fair. That is fair. I do love that they had no budget, but they were like, our vampire lady needs to wear high fashion. Yeah. Like that's.
Oh, whoever did Jeanette in the first season fucking loved Deborah. They were like, Deborah, hello, I got you a Jean-Paul Gaultier. And then the second season, they were like, I have to put this other woman in a dress? No. I will put no one else in a dress. It's fine.
You get her cast-offs and we'll just tape it to you. Don't breathe.
I know. Where's the Velcro? Bring me my clips.
Like it's shitty for the dress, and then also just like because I that's my pressure point is like the thinking that you've actually like lost your mind, and how would you know? Like that's the stress me out points when they're like, it'll be a fun episode. I'm like, not for all of us, guys.
What is his hair? And you know what? This is another reason I think this is the spiritual successor to Deadly Harvest, is because he has the same hairstyle.
Well, yeah, it's 1988. That was what,
the
77.
Is this right around The Littlest Hobo? Doesn't he do a Littlest Hobo in the 80s?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Is this a wig? Is this a blonde wig? Or did he have long? Was this one of his, like, I had a long-term TV commit, which means I stopped taking care of myself and stopped cutting my hair for
I think it's that one.
For 12 months.
I think he was like, oh, the 1830s? Growing it all out. Just growing it all out, baby. Just like this wave.
Lucky for you, I haven't gotten a haircut in like fucking forever. I'll just keep what I got, man. And he just showed up and was like, like through his hair.
I get a haircut when I get a job. I haven't had a job in 2 years. The hair kept growing. And they were like, hey, that could be conceivably the 1830s.
No, we can work with this. It's fine.
We only have one shirt. It's in a size 6X. I'm cool with that, man. That's fine. My hair will.
I brought my own flowy peasant 6X shirt. It's fine. Just put some suspenders over it and it'll be perfectly fine. And then they give him a vest for part of it, because they're like, can you take the oversized shirt off? And he was like, no. And they were like, okay, we're going to give you another layer. And he was like, I fucking love layers. So that was the exact conversation.
I'm a layer actor, actually.
He was
That's
like,
what I
oh my God,
require.
layers? Yes, please give me another one. Can I put a coat on top of that? And they're like, sir, please. It's supposed to be summer. And he's like, fine. I love how he's supposed to be from Connecticut, too. He's like, I'm an apple guy from Connecticut. And they're like, oh, you're American. And he's like, no, I'm from Connecticut.
I really feel like as long as they don't ask him to say the word clue, then he can passively pretend to be American. But like the second
he's
is
pretty good.
clue.
Clue. Clue with a K. Clue. Clue.
He says it like no human being has ever said it before, which is my favorite thing.
What is classified as Upper Canada?
Oh, this I do know. So Upper Canada is not Quebec. Lower Canada is Quebec. That's
okay.
I think Upper Canada
Everything
is
but Quebec.
Really,
got it. Okay.
I think it might be. I feel like it's like Ontario plus.
Okay.
I went to a private school for 1 year. It did not rub off.
It just kind of feels like we went north real far, and now I'm going to try to plant trees. And yeah. And because of the setup, when he plants all the trees and he's having that conversation with the guy, the Campbell guy, when he's like, these are my trees and my dad grew apples and I really want to grow apples too. And that's why I moved here. So I can also grow apples. And you're like, oh, okay. That was a well thought out backstory. Like, I really appreciate that. And then the random dude, Catherine Disher's baby daddy, rides through on a horse and like kicks over one of his trees. And he's like, a fucking tree. And the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, why did you plant it in the middle of the road? Like, what? Why was he riding the horse there? Where is his land?
I do love, okay, so to set this up with a little bit of context, and this show gives us barely a little bit of context, but so Ger's character is, he's supposed to be an apple farmer who is continuing his father's work, which sounds like there should be an orchard with like trees that are old enough that they are like big, that they're not saplings, that they're like full trees. But the show doesn't have the budget for that. Are you kidding me?
No.
So what they did is they had I bought these at Home Depot trees.
They stuck some sticks in the ground. Yeah.
3 little, barely spindly, doing the best I can. 3 little Gwyneth Paltrow-sized trees just stuck in the ground, trying as hard as they can. Like lined up in a row. There's 3 of them. They're lined up in a row. They don't appear to be in an orchard. They're just like in front of some guy's house. I don't even know that it's the Ger character's house. It's just this guy's.
We never revisit it. It doesn't matter.
No, just like three sad little trees. And then the character that you mentioned, so the one played by Cedric Smith, whose name is Captain Thomas Sims, and we'll talk about him in a second. But all you need to know from this point is he's already 112 years old, which makes me extra uncomfortable that he will then marry beautiful young Kathy, but that's fine. It's fine. He has the Grandpa Munster hair, which is to say big white streaks above the ears and then like black for the rest of it. Or is it black above the ears and white? He has skunk hair, all right? It's 2 different colors. I don't remember which one is where. Sort of a Grandpa Munster vibe. He is on his horse and he rides through these 3 little trees. There's like grass on both sides. Like there's no reason. He literally has to steer the horse into the 3 little saplings because the horse is like, there's something there. I don't think I should ride here. And they're like, no, it's in the script that you kick the shit out of these little saplings. So he rides through and ninja breaks these little trees in half. And Ger's like, no, my trees. It's like, sir, you had 1.5 trees and you planted them directly, like you said, in the center of the fucking road. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
Where are your dad's trees?
We neglected to mention the opening, which is the Sims guy coming out and he's like something about Simsburg or Simsville, or like he's going to name this town after himself. And the lady's like, you can't just name a place after you. There's like a process for naming things after yourself. And he's like, shh. He's like, look over there. And there's like a patch of dead grass. And he's like, that's where Sims cut down the first tree to found Simsville. And she's like,
the fuck are you talking about?
The fuck are you
we
talking
live
about?
in Cambridge.
He's like, so anyway, I'm running for office. And then and he like yeets off on a horse. And she's like, that didn't answer any questions.
I do love that, like, one of the themes of the show is women, aren't they silly? And I was like, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. 1988, 1832. This feels right for both eras. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. But yeah. So the wife of Thomas Sims, Thomas Sims is talking with his wife. And yeah, he's like, blah, 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 Simsville. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, oh, is the governor, did he send you a proclamation that he's naming the town after you? That's amazing. He's like, no, I'm doing this. And she's like, well, you have to be a member of the legislature to change the name of a town. He's like, dunzo. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Did the horse kick you in your head? Like, you're not a member of parliament. He's like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then he yeets off. And she's like, okay, I guess I'm the wife of a guy running for office now? Like, sure.
And I only knew this was supposed to be like a lighthearted comedy moment because of the music. The music is like, do, 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 do. And I was like, oh, is it a joke? Is it funny? Like, what was, because the music was like, guys, this part is lighthearted. And I was like, he's completely invalidating his wife and like
Correct.
running roughshod over her opinion and her objections. And then he yeeted off on a horse.
Yeah, he basically pats her on the head and goes, shh, shut up. And then like, yeah, the music was like, it's hilarious because it's the 1830s and women aren't people. This show, like every scene felt very much like, oh, okay, Family Channel. Okay. All right. Yeah, I got it. But I will say, like, after all of the non-Fred Mullen scored musical moments that we've had to just white knuckle through this entire time, like, this wasn't bad. This was fine. This was like cute orchestral music. And it was very much like, if you're picturing in your head, like the musical score to like a sitcom in the 80s, just take out like the laugh track and the it's from the audience. And like, that's basically, yeah. Like, it's not great. It's not like world changing, but is it 24? No. And for that, I'm very thankful. I'm so fucking thankful. Was it Airwolf? No.
You were doing the Lord's work by adding yakety sax to that running video.
I have never been prouder. I need so the audience. I have passed 3 bar exams, and I am so much prouder of being like, wait, I can add yakety sax to Ger running.
It was so perfect too.
This is my mountain.
It fits so well.
I have to say, so like I wasn't smart enough to be able to figure out how to like take out the original soundtrack and put this on top, but I kind of like that the yakety sax ends and then you can listen to the bullshit way they actually scored it. Like I like that it gives you like the before and after.
Yeah.
Anyways, my proudest moment. So, okay. So Thomas Sims is an asshole. He is such an asshole that he's like, you know, the one thing I don't have, a town named after me. I'm going to fix that real quick. He's like, I'm going to run for the Legislative Assembly. And he's the Tory candidate, which is the Conservative Party at the time. So at some point later, they will mention that he represents the family compact. And at first I thought that was just like a slur on derogatory. But it turns out that the people in the family compact called it the family compact themselves. They were very upfront about it. And they were essentially the rich upper class people who wanted to be legislators so that they could legislate for their own interests. And why would I ever listen to the people that voted for me? I know you're making a face like I've never heard of this before. That's real weird. Wow. Thank God we don't have that now.
Who would ever run like that? Gross. I'm so glad we've learned our lesson.
Yeah. I literally, so one of the when I was trying to teach myself Canadian history, I found online that there is it's like the school board somewhere in BC. They have uploaded an entire history textbook online. Like they've digitized the entire thing, which is pretty cool. And they had a little bit about the history from this time period. And then they did my favorite thing they did the TLDR. So they'd have like a whole page of like, we're going to give you the actual history. And then the little box at the bottom that's like, I know your dumbass didn't retain any of that. Here's the 3 points you need to know. And I was like, yay, my brain is full.
Yay, that's what I like. Yeah.
So it talked about the family compact. And I was like, oh, okay. And it literally was like, they were rich and didn't care about anybody. And I was like, oh, so that's not like a one side, like calling out the other. That's just a legit statement of fact. Okay. All right. So anyway, so he's going to run. He's a rich asshole. So he's running as a Tory, which is funny. And then he will run over Ger's tree. And then he's like fuck you, you're American. I don't care that I ran over your tree. Like as he rides, I'm like, aren't you running for office? Like you literally just.
He's like, welcome to Upper Canada, bitch. And then he runs off.
Yeah, pretty much. Rachel just did the finger, so I just need everyone to imagine Cedric Smith, who again, Cedric Smith did the voice of Professor X, and like that's basically his real speaking voice. So just imagine Professor X being like, "Fuck off, bitches," and like the little like finger on the back on horseback, which
maybe don't
X-Men
plant in the
After
middle of the
Dark.
fucking road. And then he left.
I love how that character, like they will try to soften him later in the episode, but like the first 5 minutes that we interact with that character, he's like punching babies in the mouth.
Yeah. And I love how unseamlessly they fold in Ger's character. Like Ger's just standing there in the middle of the road, and it looks like the doctor walked up and was like, you can't plant there. And he was like, I'm continuing my father's legacy. I walked all the way here from Connecticut with 3 tree saplings. This is the first road I thought I could plant them in. And they're like, yeah, you can't do that. And then that guy runs over the tree and he's like, you broke my fucking apple tree. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. You really, really, really weird American. Maybe you should take your trees and go home. And he's like,
you should get a clue.
He's like, I live here now. And then later he's going to be like, I'm so mad. I'm also going to run for office. And it's clear from the entire time this character's never going to appear again. And yet they don't really introduce him, and they don't really send him off in any way at all.
I kind of love that, like, the vibe of the show is we have a little town, but it's just big enough that, like, I don't know, maybe Ger has just always been living in a house, like, slightly to the left of the frame of the camera for 3 seasons, and he's just been in there, like, peeking out the window and tending to his single apple tree sapling this entire time. You don't know.
You don't know.
Because, again, cocaine writers who just did not give a shit. Just
fine.
Whatever, yeah, this guy lives here, he's got apple trees. Next. I would like to posit, based on the way our discussion has been going, I would like to posit a new characteristic, which is Ger plays a character that like might be a simple bitch, and the show doesn't really know. But like, you know how everyone called Nick Knight Nick the Brick, because like you rewatch episodes and be like, are you stupid? Are you like medically? Are you okay? And now we have an episode where he's
correct.
He's just like, I'm gonna
character.
plant this tree in the road. Here I go. Sir, is that why you're wearing those shirts? They're like way too big because like you didn't have the dexterity for the buttons, so you're just like, here's my Velcro shirt.
It's because they want to put him in these situations, and there's no conceivable way that any human man would ever be in that situation. So they're just like, I don't know, just fucking do it. And he's like, I'm gonna look dumb. And they're like, but you'll look so pretty. And he's like, I am pretty. Okay, you're right. And then he's planting trees in the middle of the road, and it's perfectly fine. We're
paying you in ham, Simple Jack. Work.
It's not actually in the middle of the road. I feel like it's important to clarify, since no one else can watch this episode. It is in like a field, but it does not make sense how this guy he rides off on a road, and then suddenly the horse bursts out of the trees and tramples this guy's sapling. And then he's like, oh, sorry, it's a spirited horse.
Your tree was in my way, bitch. Like, it doesn't.
How did you get in the woods? What kind of spirited? I don't know what's happening.
It does feel like he took a on purpose left turn to just run this guy's trees over.
Very clearly. And then he's like, I don't fucking care. And then he leaves. And then we don't pick up again until we're at an auction. And Ger has like a hay fan, and he's waving it around. And the guy's like, if you're not bidding, you should probably put the fucking fan down. And he's like, oh, you're right. And he like pulls it down. Oh shit. Did he think I was trying to buy that pig?
Okay, so this is the one part of the episode where I tried to understand the historical context, and I have nothing. So you're right. So we start off with the asshole Captain Sims running over Ger's tree, and Ger being like, why did you do that? And then it cuts to, we're at an auction where this guy is selling essentially all of his possessions to get enough money to return to England. And there's a couple of like vague comments made that like, this is not the first guy. Like, this is not just like some guy that woke up one day and went, actually, I want to be in England. I don't want to be in Canada. So I'm going to sell my stuff and go. They make it sound like a lot of people have been doing this in this period of time, or like there's some there's some like something that's pushing them to all go back to the United Kingdom. I could not find anything like in the dialogue from the show to tell me why like just the people of this town are moving back. I couldn't find anything historically. All I could find literally was in the 1830s, everyone is going the other way. They're all moving to Canada for a better life. So whatever they're referencing there, it seemed like they were referencing something, and I got nothing. I have no context for it, but they made it sound like lots of people were just picking up their shit and going. So we have Ger there with his fan, and then Dr. Campbell being like, "Are you bidding?" And he's like, "No, I'm fanning myself." Dr. Campbell's like, "You're doing it wrong. Where's your helmet?"
It's because he's like fanning himself with his arms straight up in the air, like fanning down at himself. Like he looks like he's bidding.
He looks exactly like he is bidding. Yeah. When I watched it the first time, I was like, he is bidding, right? And then when he like seemed surprised by his own hand, I was like, oh, Simple Jack. All right, Simple Jack.
Oh, sir. Okay.
So we have Captain Sims is there, and he's like, I don't need any of this shit. No one else. I'm super fancy, and this guy did not have things that meet my level of fanciness or taste. However, I bet he would be a big fan of me, and all the other neighbors will think I'm so great and generous if I buy all of his shit. So he does like my favorite rich guy thing, which is throw it all in for £5. Like he basically just like throws a sack of money in the guy's face and goes like, suck my dick, bitch. And I was like, okay, that's maybe not a way to make friends and influence people, but like, sure. So I also like that Ger's character, like in the middle of all this, is like, wait a minute, I can be a prick. And he does what I do on eBay, which I shouldn't be proud of, but like it gives me a little bit of joy where you're like, I know that this bidding is going to like keep going up. And like, I don't actually want this thing, but I'm just going to sneak in here and like squeak it up a little extra. I'm just going to fuck with the bidding a little. I know that's not good. I know that doesn't make me a good person, but like, it gives me like a little bit of perverse joy to be like, oh, you were going to pay $60? Now you're going to pay $61. It's not a good, but it's what I do for fun. So Ger does that a little bit. Bringing me a flashback to Forever Night, because he has that one episode where he bids on the little harp.
Oh, yeah.
Wales with the least Welsh woman who's ever not Welshed ever.
Yes, yes.
Oh, bringing it full circle. So, Ger at this point, because I guess everyone in town came out to see what their neighbor decided to sell to move back to the UK. Everyone is there, and Ger's like, you know what? Fuck this dumb bitch. So he runs up to the podium and like shoves the auctioneer aside, and he's like, hey, everybody, I'm not an asshole. That guy is. I'm going to run with the Reformer Party. And they're like, oh my God, and like a contested race? That's never happened in the town of Cambridge before. And they all like lose their goddamn minds. Cut to commercial. And I was like, oh wow, what we thought drama was in 1988 was just like some guy announcing he was running for office. And they're all like, ah. So, they end up, basically the episode is just Ger trying to run against this guy. So it's like him trying to convince people by bringing them applesauce, because that's literally he's
cinnamon.
With cinnamon, yeah.
With cinnamon.
There's a wealthy widow in town who apparently like she runs the local inn, and I guess if you get in good with her, everyone like will just do what she says because it's that kind of thing. So Thomas Sims goes up to her and he's like, I brought you some eggs, and she's like, you really think you can buy me for like a basket of eggs? It's not the year 2025. Eggs are not worth that much today, my friend. And then Ger shows up and he's like, hello, I also have applesauce.
From what trees? From what apple trees?
From the one that the horse kicked. He just scooped it up off the ground and was like, that looks like applesauce.
And he's like, apples don't even grow on trees for 5 years. It's going to take me a while to really like settle in here. And then he's like, hey, I brought applesauce.
I mean, you never see the actual containers of applesauce. He just has a basket with a little blanket on top, a little like napkin.
Yeah, it's just mushed apples in a basket. It's just mushed apples, and not even in a container.
Punched apples a whole bunch and put them in a jar. Here is sauce.
I'll make this for you. I'll make it.
He really just seems like so everyone in town is like, so Dr. Campbell is like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to be your campaign manager. And so he and his daughter are helping him run for office and telling him where to go. And he literally feels like the only thought he's ever had in his head was the initial, I'm going to run. And after that, he's just like, what? Where am I? Whoa. Like he just seems so on the back foot, this poor character.
We haven't even got to my favorite plot twist, which is he's not even Canadian.
And he didn't know. He didn't.
They're like, "You can't run for Canadian office if you're not Canadian." And he's like, "Oh, damn it."
What?
What do you
Yeah.
mean? He's like, "I mean, I could have done it anytime I wanted to, but I never got the chance." And they're like, "Well, like, you can't
Did you
go
think
to
this was going to be a problem,
Toronto
sir?
and swear in to being Canadian and be back by the time the election happens tomorrow." And he's like, "Oh,
Uh-oh.
damn it." And then he's like, "Oh, do you run?" He's like, "You look like a politician. Do you want to run for office?" The other guy's like, "Not really." And he's like, "Oh, my trees." The random character's like, I guess I'll take over your campaign that you could never have started anyway because you're not even Canadian. He literally walked up here with 3 trees in a basket.
The level of old-timey simple bitchitude that this episode has is just
He's
remarkable.
like, "But I planted my trees in the road. Does that not make me Canadian?" He's like, "Sir, you're not even a landowner. Who are you, actually? Where did you come from?"
I've lived here for 3 days. That
Did you
tree
buy
is my
land?
father.
He's like, "Did you buy land? You have to buy land? I thought you could just use it."
I just pissed in a big square and I figured that anything inside of it was mine.
Does that not mean I own it now? The scene before where Sims is like flipping through the Constitution, like this was a thing he had to look up, and then he's like, "I've got him now," and he like comes over and he's like, "Ha ha! You can't run. You're not Canadian."
Yeah, I don't understand how. Okay, so Captain Sims has this giant book, and it looks like half the book is like legal code, and the other half is like a big list of everyone who's sworn allegiance to the Queen. Which, where would you get that? Is there just one per town? Like, I don't. Anyway,
They
so he
printed
has
it
like
in the newspaper. It's fine.
I guess. So he has the big book of everyone who's Canadian. And so he flips through and he's like, Win Davies, aha, he's not in here. I've got the asshole. And then he rides up and is like, hey, P.S. bitch, you're not Canadian. Double bird. And then like moonwalks the horse out of there. And Garrett's like, what? He's like, oh yeah, shit. Like my dad took the oath of citizenship. And then like, I guess I just never did because it seemed like a lot of work and I had to tend to my singular apple tree, my apple stick. I like that nobody's like, are you fucking, you didn't even bother to look into whether you were eligible, but it's also, it sort of feels right for 1832 though. I do sort of feel like you're a white man, you just walk up to a government building and go, I am running for office. See my whiteness, and everyone's like, "Well, it's a good, you seem qualified."
Compelling argument.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd vote for you. So Ger had been running with the Reformer Party, which, fun fact. So I tried to Google like what exactly was going on, and it seems like in the 1830s, that's when you have a lot of Canadians being unhappy with the whole like rich guys who are pretending they are the aristocracy. Going to the legislature and basically just running everything for their own benefit and screwing everyone else. And they were looking to America during that time. And they were like, oh, hey, they are suggesting that maybe it would be cool if the people that you elected listened to you and voted for things that would make your life better. And everyone's minds were just blown. So they were like, Reformer Party. So that's the party that Ger's character. So I thought that was kind of cool that they had like the party, it seemed like, got a lot of their inspiration from America. So I was like, that's kind of cool that they have the American character coming in and like being the one who wants to do this, even though he's not qualified to run for fucking office. But whatever. I thought that was kind of a cool, it felt like maybe someone had put their hand on top of a history book and like hummed really loudly for a couple of minutes. Yep. So I was like, that's good. That's something. So Ger's character runs as a reformer, and then it turns out, oops, I never took the oath of citizenship, or the oath of allegiance, they call it. Oopsie doodle. So he's like, hey, Dr. Campbell, you're the main character of this entire TV show. And also you've been my chief of staff this entire time. Could you maybe run in my place? And Dr. Campbell's like, I'm not really a politician, and I'm the only doctor in this whole town. And I would have to be in Toronto, which is farther away than you can get in one day. And I feel like people would die, but okay. So he's like, sure.
Yes, we've been best friends for 48 hours. I can't leave you hanging.
You're charming, and also I feel like if I say no, you might fall into the road and die. You might forget to like drink water, so I'm concerned about your health. So he runs, and like you said, it is fully 1 day before the election, and somehow we're cool with it because it's 1832, and it's also a sitcom from the 80s, and nobody gave a shit, so whatever. Next scene.
I
So
just like the montage of them going door to door
door, and having like shit flung at them.
and being like, "I'm performing a survey. Are you intending to vote for Campbell or Sims?" And we find out later there are fully 47 voting adults in this town.
Well, 47 people that show up, because we know that at least one man who is of voting age and ability can't go because he broke both his legs falling off a roof. So 47 people that gave a shit.
So
But
50. 50?
probably,
generously.
at most,
Which
yeah,
means
yeah.
it would have taken an hour to go visit everybody.
Yeah.
And they're like walking around bribing everyone. Are you voting for me? Would you like money? Will money make you vote for me?
I do like how they weren't trying to be coy about that. They were like, nope, I'm just going to buy everyone's votes because that's how you do it. That's how you make people like you. And I was like, well, at least you're being straightforward about it, I guess. Instead of trying to pretend you're better than everyone else. So like, thanks, guys.
And he's like practicing his speech in the field.
Yeah, to the sunflowers, to the fields of sunflowers.
My fellow Canadians.
Sir, this is tomorrow. You gotta hustle. I really like that the one time, so they show Captain Sims and Dr. Campbell like knocking on one door together and not even being like, hey, will you vote for me? They're just like, are you gonna vote for Campbell or Sims? And then the woman just throws her slop at them, which sort of implies that like the people in the town, again, like you said, this town is like 50 people. They probably know most everyone else who lives in the town, but they're asking the question like, you don't know that it's me. You don't know that I'm the candidate. I'm just a pollster. I'm the one pollster in all of Canada in 1832, and I've come to ask you who you're going to vote for. And it's like, well, in a town of 50 people, you're the only doctor. He's the richest man in town. I feel like probably they have a vague idea of like what you look like. And they're going to know tomorrow when you get up and do your stump speech. So, like, why are you pretending that, like, you're putting on, like, a fake mustache being like, hello, I have come to ask who you're going to vote for. Like, seriously? It's so... I love how the show just gave no shits about, like, anything making sense or continuity. Right. They're just like, whatever. Just scene. Woman throwing her own shit. Next scene. Like, whatever. So, we get to the actual day of the election, and I guess you don't do the election speech until 35 seconds before the people walk into the voting booth to vote. Which, sure, okay. So we have, so Captain, I keep wanting to call him Dr. Sims. Captain Sims is there, and he gives his speech. I love rich people, and we're great, while kids are pelting walnuts at his head. And I was like, okay, that was fun. So we have him giving his bullshit speech, but Dr. Campbell isn't there because Dr. Campbell has been called away to a woman whose stupid fucking husband fell off the roof of the house. And at first I was like, oh, is this like a sneaky plan by Sims? Do you know what I mean? Like, is this like a red herring to try to get him away? Because that sort of feels like what it should be.
Well, right before that, he gets the line where his wife is like, all you can do is your best. And he's like, oh, I think I can do better than that.
Yeah, they seem like they're setting up for him being like more devious, and his whole character's personality has been like mustache twirling this entire time. So like it feels like in line with who he would be. But nope, it turns out this is just some dumb asshole who fell off his fucking roof. So he falls off the roof, he breaks both of his fucking legs. So Dr. Campbell rides out there. I don't know how you fix broken legs in 1832, but he does the best that he can, and I guess the guy is like fine.
He wrapped his leg in gauze.
Don't move, sir. So he fixes it, and the wife is like, oh my God, thank you so much. I can't afford to pay you, but like, let me see what I can give you. And he's like looking at his watch, and I want him to be like, peace out later, bitch. Like, you're like, there's like 4 of us in town. I'll find you later. Like, I'll invoice you. But instead she's like, let me go into like my root cellar underneath the house, and I'll bring you back a sack of onions after I have inspected each onion and made sure to find the very best ones for you, Dr. Campbell. Like, I was getting anxiety watching this. I was like, this is very stressful. I don't need the onion plot line to be giving me sores right now. Like, we just need to move this on. So she goes into the basement and takes like, it feels like 40 fucking minutes to like choose the greatest sack of onions. So she gives it to him and she's like, actually, I have more. And he's like, no, no. So he rides off back into town with his like flailing sack of onions. I was like, the fuck is this show? This is so stupid. So the daughter is in the audience. She's trying to stretch out the amount of time before the actual vote has to happen. So she gets up and she's like, if my dad were here, here's the speech that I don't know, I think probably that he would make, because I happen to have memorized it by heart in the like 30 minutes that my dad wrote it and did it for himself yesterday.
I wrote it for him because I'm actually the only literate person in the family.
It kind of feels that way. It feels like his daughter's the only smart one. Yeah. She's like, hey, she's the one who suggests going to the widow. Like, hey, have you thought about talking to the one lady who controls everyone else's opinion in town? Because she's the only one who can read and do math above a 3rd grade level. And he was like, what? That's an amazing idea. I didn't think women had influence. Like, it's just, everyone seems simple except for this daughter. So she gets up out of the audience and she starts reciting a speech, like doing a speech kind of ad hoc, like off the cuff. And it's really like very moving and very smart. And it feels sort of like the show is like, actually, women have never been morons. And I'm like, I appreciate that, but it feels sort of like too little too late. But like, it's a very well written speech and it's very moving. And it basically boils down to, what if your elected officials listen to you, which, as a person living in America in 2025, I think, yeah, that sounds neat. That I wonder what that would be like.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be like. Well, I'll let you know, maybe.
I wish we were as forward-thinking as this little girl in 1832.
Correct. Yeah.
Or Canada in 1988, who wrote this episode. That would be fun. Anyways, so she gives a really good speech, and then the government official, who's like the voting tabulator, he's like, we can't wait any longer. Sim's wife tries to convince him a couple of times to like, look, we need to have a fair election. He's like, I'm actually the villain of this piece. Marr. So like, no, shut up, wife. So everyone in town votes before Dr. Campbell gets back, because again, he's stuck there waiting while the lady picks out her very best onions. So they vote and it's a tie. Oh my God, what? So then Dr. Campbell finally gets into the little voting area and Captain Sims is like, fuck you, you didn't win. I didn't win either, but like nobody won, so go fuck yourself. And his wife is like, are you kidding me? Like, are you fucking shitting me? Like he's allowed to vote. He needs to be able to vote. You don't want to win the wrong way. And also, if nobody wins, we have to do the election over again. And they're like, that's a good point, actually.
Oh, yeah. They tell the guy he'll be liable for the cost of the re-election.
Yeah, and so the voting guy's like, actually, it turns out that I don't give a shit if I was supposed to close voting before now. It turns out it's open again. Like, yay, we're all gonna vote.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't counted absentee votes yet.
One. So this is when Dr. Campbell gets in, and Dr. Campbell goes, okay, first off, Captain Sims, I want you to shake hands with Ger's character, whose name I've already forgotten, Dan Bright. I want you guys to shake hands. And they're like, so then they shake hands and they're like, okay, fine. And then Dr. Campbell votes. And so Captain Sims is like, well, obviously he voted for himself. Like, I'm not going to get to name the town after myself, which is literally the only thing I wanted and the only reason I've given for running. And then this is the part where I screamed and threw a fucking brick at the wall because Dr. Campbell voted for Captain Sims, who again made it clear in his speech to the public and also his private conversations with his wife that he was only running to enrich himself, not even monetarily, just to fucking change the name of the town. He doesn't want anyone to come to him with their complaints. He literally says in his speech, like, I have an open door policy, but not literally. And I was like,
yeah, like metaphorically.
What the fuck does that mean? I have to slip a note under your door? The town is on fire and we have no firemen. Please get firemen. And like pass it under your door while my hands burn off. Like what? He's like, there's nothing redeeming about this character. He's a piece of shit. And all we get is Dr. Campbell going, the town needs a doctor. I can't in good conscience leave the town for like 6 months of the year to be sitting in the legislature voting on shit. Like I need to be here. Everyone's falling off their fucking roofs, drunk and breaking all their legs. But he talks to Captain Sims and goes, you are standing for all of us. Remember that. And it's supposed to be like a change of heart for Captain Sims because he has kind of a face that he makes. I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't like it. I don't believe it. But I think what it's supposed to be is like a positive, happy ending. Like Captain Sims learned the lesson and he's going to represent all of us and he's going to be good. But like it's not believable in terms of the characters, like, at all. I mean, like, it makes sense, right, that the doctor, like, the sole doctor in this tiny town that is more than a day's ride from Toronto, it doesn't make sense for him to become the politician if he's gonna be away from town for that long, unless, like,
Right, and
another
he's the
doctor came
only
in.
doctor and they can't hire another one,
Yeah,
and
somehow. Yeah, so I was like, "Okay, like, I can see why you wouldn't be the best candidate, but then why did you agree to be the candidate, and you're running against someone who is objectively worse, who has no cares for anyone in the town,
Yeah.
and, like, he's part of a political compact that is so terrible that, like, it kinda seems like they created a whole second political party just to fuck these guys because of how awful they are. Like, how they just wanted to be the British aristocracy even though, like, you're not part of the aristocracy, like, you're not
Yeah.
royal. You're just a guy that happens to be a little bit richer than his neighbors, and you wanna keep it that way, and that's your whole political party. I don't know, it felt very much like the '80s.
It felt very Touched by an Angel, where it'd be
Yes.
like, "My entire life, I've been addicted to drugs and struggled with substance abuse, and I have really unhealed trauma, and I have all these terrible things that happened to me." And they're like, "Yes, but have you considered that I'm an angel?" And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm better now.
Problem solved. Thank you.
Problem solved. Oh, yes, but
Yeah.
have you considered that, I don't know, here's a light and some music?" And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so much better." That's what it felt like, where he's like, "I did this," and the whole time his wife has been ramping up to like, "I can't be married to a unethical politician. I will not support you if you didn't win correctly, blah, blah, blah." And then he votes for the guy and he's like, in Simsville, I hope whatever." He makes some kind of comment about Simsville and he's like, "Oh, well, I'm workshopping the name." He's like, "I don't know if I'm gonna do the name anymore because
I'm a little embarrassed about.
I'm a changed man now." Like, that was my entire platform, was that I was gonna give the town a different name, but I don't know if that's my platform anymore. And they're like, "Oh gosh, he's really gonna represent us because he's a changed man."
Yeah, this one rando doctor managed to shame him enough into being a good person somehow in the course
Right.
of 24 and a half minutes.
Yes, and I love how they're supposed to be stalling before this guy comes to give his speech, and at no point is anyone like, "He's the doctor and a guy fell off a roof. This is an urgent situation."
Yeah, yeah, all we get is the voting tabular guy being like, "I have a watch. We can't be the last riding in all of Ontario to have a result. Like, TikTok, motherfuckers." It's like,
Yeah.
really? Like, how do you know that you're the last riding in all of it? Do you know what I mean? Like, how
Yeah.
would you even, are you gonna get on your horse and, like, ride to the next town and be like, "Did you guys vote yet?" Like, what do you.
Yeah, he only has to open the polls at a certain time. It doesn't tell you how quickly everyone has to vote. Everyone could have waited to vote. Like, the polls could have been open and they could have
Yeah.
just not gone in to vote if someone was just like, "The doctor is doctoring. Can we let him doctor?"
Yeah, or they could have just kept it open. We've established with this episode that democracy cures all ills. It makes bad people good. It makes good people better.
I feel like they needed an excuse for this guy to be gone for long periods of time, like he was leaving the show for something.
That makes sense.
And they were like,
Yeah.
"What if he got elected?" And because nothing makes sense. It doesn't make sense that who was already in charge? Like,
Turns out
who
nobody.
was already the person?
They make it sound like this is our first time voting ever, but also everyone already knows the protocol by heart.
Right, right. This has already apparently happened because they're redoing a thing they've already done, and yet he is running unopposed, which means that there was no incumbent or the incumbent has chosen to not run. But we don't talk about who the incumbent was or if there was, or maybe they don't talk about why suddenly this guy can run for office.
Yeah.
And then the only reason that Ger runs at all is because the dude ran over his apple tree. And so
his motivation is definitely fuck that guy.
Yeah, so the only reason the doctor runs at all is because Ger's like, "Please." And he's like,
Turns out I'm not legal.
"Fine, goddamn fine." And so he runs, and in the end, he's like, "I didn't even want to do this, but Ger said he would cry if I didn't do it. So you can have it. It's yours." What was he going to do if he won?
I was hoping, so the first time I watched this episode, like not having seen any future episodes or not really like knowing anything about the show, I was sort of hoping that the Dr. Campbell character would win, and then like part of the show would be like him doing politics. Like part of it would be like part of it's him in the small town doing doctoring, and then part of it would
Yeah.
be I'm in the legislature and I'm like fixing corruption and I'm voting for stuff and like there's intrigue or whatever. Like I was like, oh, that could actually be sort of interesting, like having the contrast between like the small town and then like the big bustling city of Toronto and like your local neighbors and like corrupt politicians or like the compromises you have to make to like get laws passed or whatever. I was like, oh, that could be kind of cool. Then you have like two sets of characters and you have two different like physical sets and I like there's you could have compare contrast. It would
Yeah.
be sort of interesting. And the show was like, fuck you, no.
Nah, dog.
Because I can't imagine that they're going to follow like I think you're probably right that it'll just be episodes where Captain Sims is not there. Not that they would ever follow the Captain Sims character because like he's not compelling or interesting enough. And like he's really just like a mustache twirling villain. And like I don't have any real, even though the episode feels like we're supposed to end on a positive feeling of like, oh, he's changed and he's going to be good. Like he just seems too snidely whiplash coded, like to be a character who in future will be like fighting for legislation to help people's lives. And the way the episode plays out, it doesn't seem like the show actually cares about that part at all, about like him fighting for anyone or like the actual like bigger world outside of the town that I'm sure will soon become named Simsville. Like they just don't care.
It feels very government doesn't actually have a role in our life, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Like the most that we can hope from them is that they change the name of the town. I bet that's a thing they could actually do otherwise. Because they do make that one comment. The widow who runs the inn makes a comment when she finds out Dr. Campbell is running where she's like, oh, you seem too smart to want to be a politician. Like, you know that they all just buy their seats. They're all barely literate shopkeepers. They just like gave apples and shit to everyone in town if they were the guy running the Apple store. And now they're in the government and they can only read the bills in front of them if they're written in really big print. And I was like, oh, like that's probably accurate, but like, that's sort of depressing. Like, I feel like when the Dr. Campbell character runs, it gives you like a little bit of hope. And when the Ger character is like, I'm going to fight against the Tories and we're the reformers and we're going to have big changes and we care about the people. Like, it's sort of like a hopeful moment. And then she immediately like puts the pin into that, like pops that balloon. Like, oh, you're just going to be there with everyone else who's bought their seat and like who can barely read and who doesn't give a shit even if they could read. Like, they wouldn't read the legislation anyways. Like, it feels like it wants you to end on a hopeful note while saying all the exact opposite things to like saying things that should put us full of despair. Like,
right. Well, I think in the 80s, the idea was the best you can hope for your government is that they don't interfere with your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also like to your point earlier, the show doesn't give a shit about the world outside of the town, outside of Cambridge. So like, this is a little one-off episode. Nothing that happens here is ever going to matter ever again.
No.
Because we don't have any kind of continuity to anything. So, like, who cares? But everyone's friends again. Wah, wah, wah. Like, and then Ger's character, I guess, takes his apple sticks and goes back to Connecticut.
Yeah.
Because
we
never
never
shows up
see him
ever again.
Yeah.
No, this is the only episode he appears in.
You don't see him halfway through this episode. As soon as they're like, dude, you're not even Canadian. He's like, then I can't even be in this fucking TV show. And then he leaves.
Where's my ham?
Where's my ham? And then he shows up at the very, very end. Because when he's like, you got to wait. You got to wait for him.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention, like, the only funny thing that he does the entire episode when they're about to start voting and Dr. Campbell hasn't shown up yet. Ger's character's like, I have an idea. And he runs into the back door of the inn, which is where the voting is going to happen. And he locks the door from the inside and then like throws himself back out the back window and misses I don't remember her name, the widow who owns the inn, like sees him do it. And she's like, are you for real, dude? You are like 27 years old and you just leapt through my window.
She's like, give me the fucking key. And he's like, okay. Fine, here you go. And then she's like, I feel like again, it makes me want to do a compilation of Ger running and add yakety sax over all of them because we've had some pretty good running moments.
Don't encourage me.
Remember when he ran in diamonds and he was wearing tights?
I do
Yeah.
vividly remember
Yes.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
that was,
And then
that was
from
good.
the bionic showdown where he's running with the like bionic sound. And then we've had some good ones if we put them all together because he like yeets himself around the side of the building. He's like, he like runs off.
It
Like,
does
"I
feel
got a
like they
great
told him, like,
idea."
you need to do this as fast as you possibly can. And he's like, I got it, Chief. And
And
he
he's supposed
runs.
to be surreptitious, and he's like, his shirt is billowing out behind him like a sail because it's so big and it's untucked.
Yeah, for subtlety, like, it does not do what it's supposed to do. But if he's supposed to be like the simple guy in town running as fast as he can, like, he nails it. He
Yeah,
nails
they're
it.
like, oh, just ignore him. Yeah, it's fine. He planted some apple
He
trees
ate
on
some
my
bad
dad.
berries, and he's doing the best he can with the brain he's got left.
He
Oh.
planted some apple trees on my dad's land. I don't know, man. He like it smelled so strongly like urine over there. No one wanted to go. It's totally fine.
He pissed in a big circle, and that's where he lives now, I guess.
We're just thinking about just giving him that acre because it just seems simplest.
He's singing Wee Willie Winky to himself in a shack he built himself.
Crying, where's my wife? My 14-year-old child bride.
She was brown and a baby, and she hated me. Where is she? Oh, my God.
I'm going to steal my own child later. It's fine. It's fine.
Ikway never gets less fucked up. Like, I keep thinking that distance is going to make it better. And, like, sometimes I have a quiet moment where I'm like, did we really watch that? Like,
Yeah, this could also be the character from Ikway where, like, he went into town with his son. His son was like, fuck you, you're a terrible person, and left. And he was like, I guess I'll just go plant some apple trees. So he made his way over here and he was just like sad planting apple trees. And he's like, I don't know, I'm like from Connecticut or whatever. And they're like, oh, you're American? He's like, sure. Yeah, I'm American. Now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
He
am.
ditched his fake Scottish accent. He
That was
stopped
the
wearing
only highlight of that movie.
stopped wearing a handkerchief tied onto his head with his like 4-point handkerchief tie thing.
I'm blonde and I'm delicate and the sun is so hot. One single napkin on my brow. That'll save me. Oh my God. I really do now think that it has to be a characteristic of him playing characters that, like, I don't think they were written to be simple, but then you watch the show and you're like, there's no other explanation. There's no other. This guy was hit in the head with a rock real hard before his character like came onto the scene. That's the only reason why he would act the way he's acting.
Yeah. It feels
Which,
right.
like, to be fair, I'm aware that, like, the total lack of effort in TV shows in, like, the 70s, 80s, and parts of the 90s, and let's be honest, parts of the 2000s. I realize that, like, to do a sitcom, you kind of have to make your characters, not really, like, fully functioning human adults, like, up in their brain, because otherwise, like, no hijinks or shenanigans would happen.
Yeah.
But, like, his characters seem even more so than, like, all the other ones. Like, everyone else got hit with a small rock and his characters were hit with a boulder. Like, his characters are just getting through life on their looks and charm.
I'm trying to think if there's one where he doesn't do that. Let me look through our list, our catalog.
Where he doesn't seem simple but handsome.
Yeah. Because now that you've pointed out, I'm like, oh shit.
Right. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Hang on.
I mean, in Ikway, he's just sort of a prick.
He's a prick, but he's also kind of, I mean, he's singing Wee Willie Winky.
Well, I think he has like a breakdown. I don't think he's like special. I think he just didn't think that brown people had any kind of a knowledge.
Let's see. Deadly Harvest, he shoots his own mom.
That's true. He seems real simple in Deadly Harvest. When he's trying to fix the tractor with his, I was going to say fork. It felt like he was trying to fix the tractor with a fork. I know it was like some kind of a wrench, but he was holding it like he'd never seen a tool in his entire life.
Yeah. And then let's see. Once Upon a Time, the Littlest Hobo episode is the one where his girlfriend definitely worships Satan. And he's just like,
and he's talking to a dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Who steals insurance papers for him. And he's like, thank you, boy. Instead of being like, who gave you insurance papers?
Yeah, the one where he believes that the dog understands insurance, and it turns out, fun fact, the dog does understand insurance better than he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, that feels a little simple, bitch. Sure.
And then there's the Outer Limits episode, the one with Gum Baby.
Where everyone's like, is this an STD?
No,
Sir, they are mummies.
No, Gum Baby, the one where it's like, worlds within the like Russian
Oh yeah,
radiation
where
baby.
the sex magic of his bed makes his mother-in-law have a golden sex child. Is that the one?
No, that's a different
Is
one.
that a different one? I get them all confused.
No. Syphilis mummies are like a different one or whatever, like type,
Yeah.
whatever random thing they thought the mummies were from. No, this is the one where there's the like weird gum-shaped human
the Russian
being, the
Yeah,
Russian
the Russian
gum
space
baby.
Yes, I'm
that
sorry.
can like transport you between worlds or something, and he like eats the
Sure.
spirit of the 2000s. That kid with like the
Yes.
spiky hair.
Yes, and he definitely had sex with the disabled woman who is at the core of the episode.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
Dr. David LaSalle, and he invites this lady here without telling her anything about it. He's like, she will be morally fine with this because I am.
And it turns out she is.
And then there's the scavenger hunt episode where he holds hands with his mom the whole episode.
Yes, the uncomfortable incest episode. Where again does feel sort of simple. Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we're batting 100.
Oh no.
Then there's the slings and arrows where he's Henry Breedlove, the character that thinks he's like the best actor ever and has to be forced into trying something new.
Yeah, he's just really full of himself. I don't think he's like
one of the few where he drops
special.
the F-bomb. Where he's like,
I know.
He's
I
like,
was
fuck you.
I
think he's just full of himself. I'm going to count that one as like, we're going to set that one aside because
Yes,
Henry
correct, yeah.
Breedlove is just him. So it doesn't count.
Just a thinly veiled caricature.
Doesn't count, okay? And then there's the one where he's Sheriff Grady Markham, the Outer Limits episode, where it's the mummies, and they're like, maybe it's a new strain of flu. I don't know. Did anybody do a strep test?
That was probably an STD that turned every old lady in town into a hollowed out husk with no ovaries within 12 hours.
Right. And I'm pretty sure that one counts because at no point is he like, what is wrong with you? There's no way they turn into a mummy from that. He's just like,
oh, diseases. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know medicine. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. And then there's the Frankie Drake mysteries where he just shows up and he's like, hi, hot wife. And she's like, hey, hot husband. And then he dies.
Does he either play horny or simple? I feel like that's the divide.
There's one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Not Highlander, the church one. Kung Fu. In Kung Fu, he is playing a character who is mentally disabled from sadness, and then they cure the sadness at the end and also cure the mental disability.
Yes.
Which was fun.
That's a whole
I have to sweep now. I'm sweeping.
Like, Diamonds? Okay, he's a smart character in Diamonds.
Yes, because he's horny. I told you it's either horny or special.
Horny or dumb. Oh my god. Hang on. Okay, then there's Republic of Doyle, where he's the
husband of the lady who is being attempted to be murdered.
Because that lady has been scrapbooking about him and he didn't notice.
Because it's his but it's because he's so sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so hot that she's compelled to murder.
And he's cheated on the wife before a bunch of times. So like his character is already like an on the prowl cad. It's cad or helmet. That's the divide.
Okay, street legal cad.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Ikwe.
Cad until he has a mental breakdown. It's the bridge. It bridges the divide.
Does. You know what?
It
combines all the horror into one thing. No wonder we hate Ikwe so much. And then there's Highlander, where he doesn't even realize he's two people. Like he's been in prison for a long time and he breaks out and he's just like,
yeah, but his bad personality is horny, right? Doesn't he go after the lady, or is he just trying to kill I feel like I remember him
trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, but why? I thought there was like some kind of a weird, creepy sex energy.
Only because he's doing his like Ger evil. He's like, oh, I love deep husky voice. That's how you know I'm a bad guy. And he does this like laugh that he always does when he's evil.
Yeah, he went so over. That one episode somehow it represents like the cutest and the least cute that he's ever been, but like together in one episode. Because when he's the simple character, he's got his little glasses and his tight 90s Dockers, and
Yeah.
I'm not into it. I'm only human. I'm only a human woman. And then when he
Mhm.
goes full on evil, yeah, he does his voice that like makes all of my body shrivel up and shut down, which is
Yeah.
real upsetting. Yeah, the evil voice and the like giggling and shit, which I can't stand at all. So yeah,
I think he's both.
a little bit both. Yeah.
I think he's simple as the doctor. You know, he's his. I hate to say simple, but more of a uncomplicated person as
Yes.
Dr. Michael Moore, and then Quentin Barnes is more like the horny cad character.
Yes.
And
correct.
then Baxter doesn't feel like it should count because he's in it for 2 seconds, but he is a
But
cad.
he is a cat. He's talking.
Yeah.
He's criticizing the children on how their makeout scenes aren't making him hard enough. Like, come on.
Puppets Who Kill, cad.
Puppets Don't Kill. Yeah, he starts filleting his glasses
Yeah.
in court. That's definitely cad.
Hush Little Baby. I'm gonna go uncomplicated because his mother-in-law tries to seduce him, and he's like, "It's not. I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm not gonna deal with this in any way."
It feels like every character in that movie is really, really. I shouldn't say. You make me feel like I shouldn't say the word simple now, but like every character in that movie does not have a lot going on in their brains until the last 5 minutes, where they're like, "What?"
All right, Murdoch Mysteries. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Well, okay, so I remember at least 2 separate scenes where Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was drooling at the mouth over Dr. Ogden, and every time that her character left the room, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's eyes followed her out.
So cad.
So a little bit cad, yeah.
Yeah. All right, then we got we'll cover all. We'll include all of Arthur Conan Doyle, so I won't cover the other Murdoch mystery episodes, including the one where he has like a cameo because he was filming something next door and he shows up in a boater.
Totally different outfit. I dress like this now. This is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's going through a phase.
You're welcome.
He likes straw boaters now.
Klaus. Simple. Uncomplicated.
But he also is hitting on the mother.
I'm gonna go on. No, I gotta go
mainly
with
uncomplicated. Yeah, mainly.
Yeah, mainly
simple
just
bitch.
yeah. And then let's see, Ghost Mom / Barry and Me in Niagara.
Oh, cad. He's trying to fuck that not Irish lady the entire time.
Paid Vacation.
He feels kind of like he should be a cad. I like the scenes of him with the creepy guy the creepy guy that turned state's witness against him. Like
I'm gonna go naive / uncomplicated because he follows along with this investigation this whole time thinking.
He does. Yeah, no, that is fair. That is fair. He seems. I feel like I don't like that character. I feel like he kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like his awareness of the situation, of the noose tightening around him, he does seem like very surprisingly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cats and Dog. He gets outsmarted by a dog.
That is true. I feel like the show doesn't want us to think he's simple, but yeah, you made an excellent point with the whole
he got outsmarted by a dog.
Outsmarted by a dog. Yeah.
Yeah. We already talked about Kung Fu. Let's see.
Yeah.
The Merry Wives of Windsor. I think Falstaff is the iconic
quintessential cad. The cad.
Yes.
The ultimate cad.
Yes. Q2 Hypercube. I would argue that Simon Grady is not a very complicated man because he just wants to he's immediately like, okay guys, we're gonna have to eat each other. And they're like, we've been here 5 minutes. And he's like, we're planning ahead. We just gotta plan ahead. And then he kept all the watches and had them all in his
7 Jerrys.
Then he shows up and he's either frozen or old. Hard to say.
That movie was simple. Do you know what I mean? Like there was no chance for any of the characters.
Yeah, that wasn't going anywhere. All right, Other Women's Children.
I mean, he's horny as shit. I mean, they have a Thanksgiving fuckfest. You have to be sort of, I feel like a cad is like a guy that's going to cheat on you. I feel like this character doesn't cheat on you, but he's kind of, but he's like, his main motivation is.
Here's what it is. He's either so horny, you forget, you excuse his behavior, or he's not horny enough to cover up how uncomplicated his character is acting.
Oh, you just put all the pieces together
I
for
think
me.
that might be the puzzle. I think I might have
Yeah.
assembled the puzzle.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're
all-
all horny and simple to some degree. It's just a balance.
It's
It's
a
a beautiful balance.
One or it's like a, scales. One goes
Yeah.
up, the other goes down.
Yeah.
American Psycho 2, all American girls.
Stupid as fuck. So you are a psychiatrist, and I just feel like I need you to be catching on to these signs quicker,
Yeah.
sir.
The Scottish play.
Horny. Yeah.
Horny.
Just wet the entire time. He's got his child bride or child co-star that he leaves it with at the end of the night.
Airwolf. Dumb.
Dumb as
just
shit.
Dumb. Just dumb. I was like,
Yeah.
they're so sugarcoating that one.
But again, like the entire show, like no character could be smart within the framework of that show.
No.
No.
Bionic Showdown.
He hits on Sandra Bullock, but also whatever his plan or scheme was made no fucking sense. So
Right, because as soon as the horny goes away,
the dumb comes to the forefront. Oh.
One or the other. And then Trilogy of Terror.
Horny as shit.
Yes. Horny to the point of stupidity. Horny to the point of stupidity. Because he ends up getting eaten by giant rubber rats in a very escapable scenario. Like if you just didn't climb
Back
into
the fuck up, sir. Get out of the hole. It's not even 6. It's like 4 feet deep. You can just jump out of it.
All right. So maybe this one doesn't count because we couldn't quite figure out what they were going for. But the new Alfred Hitchcock episode where he plays the maybe ghost, maybe not ghost.
Okay. He has a moment of horniness with the wife of his captain or lieutenant or whatever, the wife of his army boss man.
Yeah.
But then the rest of it, I feel like it's dumb only because, like, I feel like any way that you slice the actual reality, he's got to be a little bit dumb. Because either there's one version where he's a ghost and doesn't know it, which I feel like you're sort of dumb if you don't know that you're a ghost if you're a ghost.
Yeah.
Or everyone around him is ghosts and he's alive, which I feel like there's only so long that the ghosts can be ghosts around you without you. Like, you should pick up something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, someone's
You're
gonna
not
put
alive, sir. Why are you here for dinner?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. At least some of them he saw die in front of him. Like, some of them he didn't know. So you get sort of a pass on, like, the ones who maybe died since the last reunion. But, like, some of them you definitely saw die in front of you in Vietnam. And they're not, like, you can't get all better from having your brains blown out. So, like, I feel like you have to be, because those are the only two options, right? Either that he's a ghost or he's not a ghost, but everyone else definitely was ghosts. And then it's not super clear about his army boss, because he's either a ghost or not a ghost. But like either way, I feel like whether you're a ghost or someone else next to you is a ghost, like there's a period of time where I give a grace period.
I got it. It's
what?
The Brick Dick Index.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. I've never been prouder to be your friend. Well, that's the title of the episode.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just like,
you're fine.
It's the Brick Dick Index. Where does it fall on the Brick Dick Index? This is farther
that's
towards
on your t-shirt.
Farther towards the brick than the dick.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a grace period that I will give you for not knowing that you or someone else is a ghost. I feel like you get a short grace period, but it's not the length of an entire 1 hour long episode of Alfred Hitchcock. Like, some point in there you got to figure out who's living and who's dead, and I feel like it shouldn't be that hard. So, brick.
Yeah. All right. My secret identity. 3 men in a skull.
Oh, super horny.
Yeah.
Super horny.
Dick index.
Doesn't he have morning sex with the kid's mom?
I believe that might be implied. Maybe I blocked that out. I don't know.
No, yeah. So the kid, what's his face? He's a famous actor now. The guy who plays the teenage superhero.
He's in Sliders.
Yes. Why can't I think of that's terrible? I'm sorry. I can't think of his name. But his mom, so his scientist neighbor friend comes over and is like, is your mom around? And he's like, no, Ger's character took my mom this morning. They gave me a frozen pizza and to watch my sister for dinner. They said they were going to be gone all day long. I shouldn't call them or bother them. She's going to be having her hair blown back. And it was like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dick.
Dick Index.
Mhm.
Dick. All right. So The Hidden Room, season 2, episode 1, Dangerous Dreams.
Oh, so horny that he
Brick.
didn't care that his house was on fire.
I think that one falls both on Brick and Dick because he's so far to the one side that he can't think with anything but the one. But
no,
the
that's
dick.
true. That's fair. Yeah, I'll give
Yeah.
accurate.
Matrix. Collateral Damage.
I don't remember much of. I know he's.
I know. I think it's more
army
Brick.
guy. Yeah, aren't they trying to like?
Usually we remember the dick, so it must be Brick.
Yeah, I think they were trying to. What can I think of the word? Were you frame? They were trying to. Some army guys were trying to frame him for causing the error that led to innocent civilians being killed. Right? Wasn't that this one?
He's like a fighter pilot with PTSD. Yeah.
So I feel like I think he was a little bit stupider.
Maybe Brick.
Because it was like a really, I feel like all the schemes that anyone has in any of these episodes are always really dumb schemes, but it takes his character a while to like figure out the dumb scheme.
I think we might have nailed why My Matrix, the TV show, hasn't stuck around because we watched that and I'm like, I remember nothing. Like I don't remember.
I remember like the basic premise of like that city between heaven and hell and the not demon, not angels helping out human beings, but like the actual.
But I don't remember that particular episode.
No, the actual plot. I remember thinking the premise was cool for the whole series, but like that particular episode is not really staying with me.
No.
Although I do remember Ger's character waking up in his PJs in traffic, being like, "Oh," but that feels more like I had a nightmare than I'm not allowed to wander from my house. I should be on a leash. So,
right.
Yeah, but okay, Brick.
Brick. The Judge.
Dick, yeah, because the one lady lawyer that he went to law school with at the same time was like, "Oh, are you here for statutory?" Which in the 70s was a charming come on and not the upsetting comment that it would be today. Are you here because you're fucking babies? Oh, you.
Aw.
You know.
All right. A terror stalks the class reunion.
He kidnaps the lady to marry her. I feel like that's sort of far on the Dick Index.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. We're going to go with Dick.
Yeah.
Wild Dogs.
He's a pornographer.
Yeah,
Dick.
so Dick.
Dick Index.
Trudeau.
I mean, he does I fuck the maid at Trudeau's house, but that may have been the actor, not the character. I don't know.
That one feels like an exception because he's playing somebody he had to be like. He had to be like. Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know that I understand the political ramifications of all of the choices that the Premier of Ontario that he played was making to know whether like objectively they were like the choices of a smart character or like a self-interested character or a dumb character, and that character person. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like I know that he's like doing all these backdoor deals, backroom dealing, but like I don't know whether they're good backroom dealing or smart or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Abstain?
Yeah, I think we'll just kind of nope that one.
Yeah.
And the last one would just be 24.
Fucking Brick.
Yeah.
Brick. Super Brick.
Super
the
Brick.
Brick is Brick. The way that man ran, Brick.
Yeah.
Hiding behind the fridge in the middle of the floor.
Well, now we have invented the Brick Dick Index, which feels right.
It feels correct and good.
It feels like this is an important step for this podcast. And and now we can add that to our rating system at the end.
The Brick Dick Index and characteristics. We are not going to be allowed within 100 miles of Stratford. They're going to have a big sign with our faces and like a big frowny face. Like, do not.
No, I would like to be clear that I don't think this is a Ger thing. I think this is the type of roles that he has traditionally.
Why was his agent only giving him bricks and dicks? I don't
know, Meg, because they were like, you did so good at it in Forever Night, where you did both. Honey, you did both. You really juggled. And he's like, I got range. And they're like, yes, your range goes from brick to dick. He needed to find somebody who could appreciate that there was more. Because I feel like in Diamonds, he's such a smart character and he plays the brick character, but he's not. He's just manipulating them
Oh
the entire
yeah,
time.
no, yeah. Yeah, he's manipulating the KGB. He's manipulating the detectives. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he finally gets to like do his thing, but in a way that in the end you're like, oh, he got everyone. Like, oh, he was playing everyone like a fiddle the entire time.
Yeah. Well, and it may be that a lot of his dick characters are actually very smart, but it's hard to remember a lot of what they say. Frankly, he might as well be in a silent movie for some of them. Like, I'll be honest, I remember a lot of Diamonds. I don't remember a lot of the plot. Let's be real for a second.
The plot was not important. The tights were important. The plot was not important.
I remember him putting both hands on that woman's face and going, "You are beautiful. I am beautiful. Beautiful people should be together, no?" Like,
no, he was so deep in that. She let him kiss her with a sandwich in his mouth.
With hoagie breath.
He was like, which may be the origin of ham. I think that might be where ham came from. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, where did we get ham? And I was like,
well, we decided that for some of his low budget things that they probably didn't have enough to pay him adequately, and that they just brought him sacks of ham, I think is what we decided. Yeah.
We'll work for ham. So I think this episode was pretty far down the brick. I think there was very little dick. He didn't get, except for his tight little pants, which he gets to lean against a podium at one point, and they show it from behind, and I was like, you knew what you were doing.
Thank you, cameraman.
You knew what you were doing. You can see crack. It's that tight. Those pants are like, they're like painted on.
Well, I mean, I think the corollary to the brick dick index is the oversized shirt, undersized pant index.
Yeah. Both cannot fit.
No, correct.
Both cannot fit. One can fit or the other can fit, but not both.
Yeah. I mean, literally anytime that it's something about khaki pants. I don't know. Anytime that the pants are kind of a brown color, like they have to make them skin tight. I mean, that was the only thing I remember about Highlander is that when he dies, his butt's in the air and you get full two cheek action. One fart and they would have ripped right off of his whole body. And then everything else that he's in, it's like the biggest. That was part of was it Matrix or no? Which is the one where the woman gets the stuff in her dreams? It's not Matrix. It's Hidden Room. In Hidden Room, he has that coral sweater that looks like 4 other guys wore it together at once and then stretched it for their bodies and took it off and gave it to him. Like, why? Why do they always put him in extremely, hugely oversized?
Big.
Literally, the best fitting tops he ever had was when he played Falstaff because they had to fit over a fucking fat suit. That's the size shirt he was going to wear regardless.
Season 1 of Forever Knight. He wears a couple of shirts that fit him very well, especially the black bacon shirt.
The bacon shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P. bacon shirt.
R.I.P. bacon shirt. There's a couple moments where you're like, okay. Not when he's wearing the flowy peasant shirt. Not that.
When he's scooping wine, or sorry, blood out of barrels in his fucking living room.
He's like corking his own bottles, and he has like a gravy boat that he's scooping out.
I always liked the idea that his character would be like, okay, I have blood, which you can clean. I mean, we're both women. We know you can clean blood out of stuff, but like probably you wouldn't wear your loosest, flowiest, whitest shirt to scoop blood out of a goddamn barrel. But I like that his character changes out of whatever work clothes he was wearing into his blood scooping pajamas
while a child sleeps upstairs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a career.
Is it like his version of an apron?
I guess. He has a storeroom full of giant flowy peasant shirts that he just collected over the centuries.
It's fine. They're bleachable. It's fine.
The guy at the Walmart is like, why are you buying 10-gallon jugs of bleach? He's like, none of your business.
It gets the blood out the best. Like, okay, sir.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Do you have any gravy boats?
Okay, so where to bring us as a closing, to bring us back to the Campbells, what kind of a raised eyebrow rating would you give this?
I mean,
I know it's hard.
It's
It fits better in
hard
the brick to
because
dick index.
he does get one moment where he gets his I know what I'm in, and it's when he's like up voting the guy or up bidding the guy,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's like, he's the only one thing that he's actually here to buy, and he's like votes, and he gets like a politicians, and that's like really it because he doesn't get to
Sass.
interact with any. He gets like mild flirting with the girl because she suggests that they go talk to the innkeeper, and he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
"I think I should hire you as
Well,
my."
and then sort of mild flirting with the innkeeper lady. It
Yeah,
kind of felt like when he's like, "Here's your applesauce."
but he didn't get to like unleash. Like he didn't get to do
Oh no, this
his
is a Family Channel program.
thing.
They had to rein him in.
They were like, "Sir, this is touched by an angel, not that kind of touched." Okay, and he's like, "Fine, fuck
It's not what I
whatever.
signed up for.
This is Canadian Dr. Quinn medicine woman. I need you to just keep it all reined in." He's like, "Oh, fine," and he like stuck his apple sticks in the ground, pouted.
Here's a bag of frozen peas to put under your shirt. Cool it off.
I'm gonna give one. Because we got the flowy shirt.
One feels fair.
We got the one little wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the camera, but we didn't get any of his like what he does when he gets to act with like when he gets to act with someone of the opposite sex. Like we didn't get any of his usual characteristics for that.
Yeah.
So this is the second thing in a row where he didn't really get to do his. He didn't get to do his fun stuff. Like he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like. I mean, it was fine, but it felt like a job. Like it.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was there.
Puffy shirt, tight pants, bring me my hams.
Yeah. I'll take a sandwich and my check like that, and that's fine. It's fine. He was in this for one episode, and he did a good job.
Look, I hated it less than Airwolf and 24, and like I didn't mind this. I
This
thought
felt
this
like
was
a nice
cute
break.
and fine.
I was like, oh, okay, 28
Yeah.
minutes. This is great. I
Yeah.
love this. This is I can do this. And then
Yeah,
he disappeared halfway through the episode. So okay.
Although I feel like it is a characteristic that we have seen in the past, not recently though, where his character is like the impetus for everything. He sets everything in motion, and then his character kind of disappears. I know we've seen that before because I remember remarking on it. I know that my Sloppy Wet Kisses rating is always just like an overall enjoyment. And I would give this like a 5 out of 10, like for enjoyment. Like it wasn't awful. It wasn't like amazing. If I saw another episode of the Campbells like on TV, I wouldn't like scream and change the channel like I would with 24. Like I would give it a shot. I want to see the Kathy episode or episodes.
Yeah.
It has to be more than one if she's on the cover of the box set, presumably. Like you hope.
I enjoyed Ger in this. I don't know that I enjoyed this TV show.
No, I feel like the moral end point of it is very of the time. And so watching it now, like even like let's not even talk about current modern politics. Like let's put that aside. Let's pretend that we lived in a happy, normal modern world. But like even in that situation, the way this ends with like, listen to me, bad man. I got you elected and now you're going to change your ways. And the bad man being like, yes, I will change my ways. I'm like, it's so corny. It's so cheesy. And it doesn't even feel earned. Like if the character had actually felt like I have been visited by 3 ghosts of Christmas past and I am going to mend my ways, then that would have been more acceptable to me as an audience. But this feels like this character doesn't feel like he learned anything or he's going to change. Like next week, he's putting a big sign out front that says, "Welcome to Simsville" with a painting of his own dick on the front of it. Like,
correct.
I don't know. So like, I don't love the way it ended, but like, I get when you have a show where you need to return to the status quo that you can't all of a sudden go, hey, remember this guy was a doctor last episode? Now he's a politician and he lives in a different town and he does a different thing with different people. Like I get why that wasn't going to happen in 88, but I feel like you could have had him end up still the doctor and like had someone else become the politician. And then just like, if you needed, maybe you never bring up politics ever again in the entire series, but you just don't have the objectively worst, most venal character that you presented me with become the politician who represents the town. Like you just don't do that. Right. So okay. And like, I mean, it got me to look up history, which is always a plus. Cause I don't know shit about fuck. So having a chance to like look up history, like I'll give it an extra half point for that. 5.5 out of 10.
5.5. That feels good.
5.5. Yeah.
That feels right.
Yeah. So before we go, an announcement that is not going to be unexpected because we make it every third time that we record an episode of this. We're going to take another little hiatus. Rachel just got done with her move, and I thought, well, gee, that sounds like so much fun. So I am actually moving. It shouldn't. We should be back in maybe like a month or so.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
sounds
know.
right.
I look before August. Okay, before August, we will record something else again. I just between now and August, I'm gonna be living like a hobo with a bindle.
Yeah.
So,
We're not gone. We're just taking a break.
yeah. Look, I'm not packing up my piano and candelabra. You don't have to put on your millennial pink suits. We
Come in
shall
and shame
return.
you. You were
To
going
come
to
in and
leave
shame
without
me.
saying goodbye, Meg. It felt easier that way. For who?
It has been in the past. It's hard not to move as much as we move and like watch that show where he's talking about picking up lives and be like, yeah, I get that, sir. I understand that on an intimate level. But
Yeah.
anyways, we will return. This is not the end of us. You're not getting rid of us. We have just discovered the brick to dick index. We cannot possibly leave you now.
Never.
Never.
We have to use
Never.
it. Okay, that's a gimmick that has to be beaten into the ground. Like,
Correct.
to death.
We need
Yeah.
merchandise. There's got to
Mhm.
be stickers and t-shirts. There are telephone poles in Stratford, Ontario that do not yet bear our mark. And that seems like an oversight.
Yes.
So we gotta make that happen. Just him walking through town being like, where are these stickers coming from? It's just brick to dick everywhere I go.
This
We're being
slider.
stalked. Anyways, so sometime before August, friends, but until then, just, listen to our back catalog and be amazed with how we have grown and become such better, more professional podcasters talking about this poor man and his career. On that note, friends, until we meet again, bye.
Bye.